Ardipithecus kadabba, an early human species, is primarily known from limited fossil evidence, including only a few post-cranial bones and dental remains. It exhibited bipedalism, or walking upright, and is estimated to have been similar in both body and brain size to a modern chimpanzee. Its canine teeth, while projecting beyond the tooth row, showed features resembling those found in later hominins. Notably, a bone from the large toe possesses a broad, robust structure, which indicates it was used for the push-off phase of bipedal walking.
So let's unpack that a little. We're looking at a creature pieced together from just fragments, a creature that, in many ways, was very much like a modern chimp in its size, but, and this is crucial, it was already taking the first steps, quite literally, on the path to becoming human. The evidence lies in its teeth and, most importantly, in the way it walked.
In this explainer, we're going to delve into the story of this ancient ancestor. We'll look at how it was discovered, examine its anatomy to understand its movement, reconstruct the world it lived in millions of years ago, and finally, figure out its place in our own family tree.
First up, the history of its discovery. Finding the remains of our ancient relatives is an incredibly painstaking process, often taking years of searching through harsh landscapes to find just a few precious fragments.
The fossils we're talking about are ancient, even by paleontological standards. They date back to the late Miocene, somewhere between 5.8 and 5.2 million years ago. This puts Ardipithecus kadabba right at a pivotal moment in evolution, very close to when our lineage is believed to have diverged from the ancestors of chimpanzees.
The story really starts in 1997. That's when paleoanthropologist Johannes Haile Selassie found the first fossils in Ethiopia. At first, in 2001, they were thought to be just a subspecies of another early hominin, Ardipithecus ramidus. But by 2004, new tooth discoveries made it clear that this was something different, something older, and it was given its own distinct species status. Incredibly, every single fossil fragment of this species has come from one location on the entire planet, the Middle Awash area in Ethiopia. This region is a true treasure trove for understanding human origins, part of the Great Rift Valley that has yielded some of the most important hominin fossils ever found.
Okay, so what can these few fossils tell us about what Ardipithecus kadabba actually looked like and, more importantly, how it moved through its world?
What's so fascinating is the combination of traits. On one hand, its body and brain were about the size of a modern chimp's, but its canine teeth tell a different story. They were already showing features we see in later hominins, which suggests a possible shift in social behavior. Maybe less reliance on big, sharp canines for threat displays.
But the single most important trait is bipedalism. This is the hallmark of the hominin lineage. The ability to walk on two legs is what fundamentally separates our ancestors from all other apes and set us on our unique evolutionary journey.
And how do we know it walked upright? It all comes down to a single bone from the big toe. You see, its shape is broad and strong. That structure is essential for what's called the toe-off, the final push against the ground that propels us forward when we walk. It's not just a guess, it's clear anatomical evidence for bipedalism.
So let's try to picture the world this hominin lived in. By studying the geology and other plant and animal fossils found nearby, we can start to reconstruct its ancient habitat.
The evidence suggests it lived in what's called a mosaic environment. It wasn't a single, uniform landscape. Instead, think of a patchwork of woodlands mixed with more open grasslands. The fossils were also found in areas that were once close to lakes and springs, which would have been vital sources of water.
And what did it eat?
To figure this out, scientists act like dental detectives. They analyze the shape of the molar teeth and look at the microscopic wear and tear patterns on their surface. For Ardipithecus kadabba, this analysis shows they were processing tough, abrasive material, leading to the conclusion that their diet included a lot of fibrous foods, like tough plants and roots.
So, let's put it all together. Where does Ardipithecus kadabba actually fit in the sprawling story of human evolution? Its classification and even its name give us important clues.
As we mentioned, it was first thought to be a subspecies of the slightly younger Ardipithecus ramidus. But the teeth were the deciding factor. They had features that were considered more primitive, that is, more like an earlier ancestor than those of ramidus. This subtle but critical difference was enough to give it its own place as a distinct, older species.
The name itself is really meaningful. Ardi is from the local Afar language and means ground or floor. Pithecus is simply the Greek word for ape. And kadabba, also from the Afar language, means basal family ancestor. So when you put it all together, the name literally means ground ape, the basal family ancestor.
We don't know everything about our early ancestors, but we keep learning more. As many of us wonder if it is possible to get any information from fragments of bones. The answer is yes. When you study the subject in detail, you will be able to understand how the scientists gather evidences from various sources.